What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Dudeality podcast, where our motto is living comfortably uncomfortable. My name is Ian Perez, joined by Jonathan Mercado, Victor Rivera, and Chris Zora. We're four ordinary dudes with extraordinary dreams. What's up, Jonathan?
Hey, what's up, my man? I don't know if you were looking up. I'm pretty sure you were reading your little thing. I was pretending that I was doing the intro with you, brother.
No, you tried that a couple weeks ago and you couldn't do it. So
that's correct. I didn't read it like you did, my man. Repetitions. It always sounds wonderful, by the way, as always. But man, always some sense of gratitude. Shout out to another week of some learning, guys. Another week. We have a good topic today. We're going to be covering over nature versus nurture. So you don't want to miss out on that. Is one of these predictors, nature and nurture, going to determine your level of success? Is it the reason why you aren't getting where you want to get? And which one of these predictors are the reason why you are the way you are? How does it make it tick? How does it make it work? Can we cross these traits? It is a hot debate. And shout out to my man Victor for coming up with this topic. When he came up with the topic, I literally thought he was watching the Discovery Channel. I never heard of the topic. I was like, nature, nurture. Is this like, planet, what is that? Animal Planet?
Animal Planet.
I was like, okay.
Discovery Channel.
So Discovery Channel, man. I was like, nature, nurture. That sounds like straight off the Discovery Channel. I was like, I trust Victor. So then I started researching. And I was like, oh, couldn't stop.
Yeah, it's a big debate.
Yeah. And I almost sided the scientific Jonathan when it comes to nutrition. I never side ways. I always keep it very broad. The answer is always somewhere in the middle. But on this one, guys, I'll let you know my results at the end. Which do I side with? Do I side at all? Pretty interesting stuff. So thank you, Victor. Good stuff, my man. But hey, let's recap this week. How has your week been, everyone?
It's been good overall. I did have a little scare over the last weekend. So my wife got sick and she was giving all the symptoms of COVID. Like on Saturday, I was giving all the symptoms of COVID, like fever, like headache, just having like chills and stuff like that. So we're like, damn. But she doesn't really go out anywhere. And then as far as me, like I'm vaccinated and I don't go out other than, my Camp Gladiator, personal fitness. But other than that, I really didn't go anywhere either. So I was like, damn. But we got her tested on Sunday. And then she was negative. So that was good. And then we found out that she has something else related to breastfeeding. That's how she got an infection through there. So that was a scare because I was like, crap, like so many things happen. It's funny because I was dreading it because I had a text ready for you, Jonathan. I was like, oh, my guy's going to hate me because we've been through a couple of things. It's been a little stressful here when our franchise, we had a couple of trainers, that needed coverage because of, COVID stuff. So and the whole team is being drained already.
I've been working a lot trying to get this coverage and hire new trainers to sub and, and I was like, man, if one more trainer gets COVID, I might lose my hat. Might lose my lid.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, get through it. Get through those pains, man. Prayers for your wife. Hopefully she feels better. None of that stuff is fun, especially when having a newborn and having that scare and having the scare of you can't work your business. That's a lot.
Yeah. So mainly for my kids, because like kids not vaccinated, and then you kind of read all this stuff on the news and things like that. Like crap, But luckily it's good. She there's actually we got medicine from her doctor, and she's taking it now, so she's good.
Good, man. Well, good. Everything is being taken care of over there. What about you guys, fellas?
Oh, you want to go? Okay.
Like, while we still doing this, 6.5 months in. Hey, let's decide right now. Are we going by age? Like Victor's the oldest, then is Chris and we'll do that.
No, we determined this forever ago, and I remember it.
Yeah,
you start, it goes to Victor, then it goes to Chris, and it ends with me.
We did. All
right, Chris.
Yeah, my bad.
That's why I'm looking. I mean, it's not my turn.
Just typical stuff. Just been working. I've been still hitting up 9 round. Like I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent with that. Yeah, and then on Saturday, last minute, a friend hits me up. Do you want to go to Typhoon, Texas? I'm like, sure. Like, yeah, when are you guys gonna head out there? He's like, oh yeah, like 10 minutes ago. I'm like,
10 minutes
oh,
ago.
I was like, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I went out there, spent a couple hours out there, and went and watched the fights later that night. But
That's how you
other
know
than
when you're
that,
Chris's real friends is when you ask him to do something, he'll get back to you quick. But when we ask him to do something, it's like days. We don't know if Chris is gonna do it or not.
I think
What
because
are
we
you talking
text him in the
Just
middle of the
playing.
day. We
You-
text him in
you
the
text-
middle. I'm gonna
you
defend
text me when I'm
Chris.
at work. And
Yeah, he's like when he's at work and he's scanning somebody at the time.
He's all scanning somebody.
Either that or he's sleeping.
And we're blowing this full up all day. Which is
yeah,
me.
like,
Me and
I don't
Victor-
look at my phone that much at work. Like I might glance at it real quick, but yeah, I don't really spend much time on my phone.
You saw my gif of Chris at work, right?
The Homer Simpson one.
Yeah, he's just like
I'm so
on the
busy
chair.
spinning around in the chair.
The funny thing is, like, he obviously in that gift, like he's not actually doing anything; he's just spinning. But I actually do that a lot because I'm going from one computer to the next computer. Like I'll be scanning the patient, and then I'll like slide to the other computer to scan paperwork in. Then I'll slide to the other computer to charge the contrast, and go to the other computer to look up
So you slide
info
everywhere.
on the other patient.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all over the place.
That's cool, man. I got a
Yeah.
question about now 9 rounds. Is it real boxing? Like, do they know what they're doing, or is it more of just a workout?
I mean, they're making you do combos and stuff. It's not like real like boxing.
You're not sparring
But-
anyone.
But the guys there,
like-
but the guys there, or the two of the three guys that I've trained with, they actually have like a background either
That's
in
what- that's
boxing
what I
or
meant to
Muay
ask.
Thai or yeah.
That's something I'm working on. Ask better questions. I meant to ask, do the trainers there have a boxing background? Right,
Yeah.
because trainers with CG, we have to be certified personal trainers. As you know, I'm thinking of 9 rounds. Do you have to have some level of experience in boxing? But I'm sure you may not have that answer.
10-0
Yeah,
on
and
the
like-
streets.
Next time, ask.
And like I think, I mean, they start you out pretty easy, like easy things, and then they actually had us start throwing or had me throwing some like knees and elbows the other day, which was fun. But yeah, usually you start out with jump roping for 3 minutes straight. Which if you've ever tried doing that for 3 minutes straight, it gets
It's-
tiring.
It
No.
does.
Let's
Yeah,
go
try
out,
to-
brother.
And then you do like some like basic workout, like either squats or push-ups or something like that for like the second round, and like they mix it up. And then you start going into the actual like punching and kicking and stuff like that.
Fun. Well, hey, glad you're in it. You're moving, getting that body, getting that energy up.
Shoot,
Nice, dude.
I've been gaining way too much weight. I'm almost back to the highest I've been.
I didn't want to say anything, but
he say you're looking kind of chubby. I'll say it. I'm just kidding.
you know, out of all the friends, I'll be the first one to say something. Ian, what's up, brother?
Not too much, man. Same old, same old. Starting to work out with Kendra. Kendra's got volleyball tryouts literally the second day of school
Yep.
for 7th grade middle school. So we'll see how that goes. We never really forced her to work out or anything like that, but kind of have to make her, or else she's gonna get a slap in the face when it comes to crunch time.
Right,
I don't want to set
Sometimes, right?
Yeah, I don't want to. Basically, what I'm just wording to her, I'm like, if you lose to somebody because they have more skill than you, that's okay. But don't ever lose to somebody because they outworked you. So I'm just trying to get her body ready.
So
'cause, yeah.
So do you because I think last time you mentioned that you're like kind of coaching her. Do you like have a background at all in volleyball, or like
Yeah, dude, summer volleyball champ in high school. Come on.
Can't tell by his body, bro. The
I
volleyball body.
have a 7-foot wingspan and I'm 5'10". No. I mean, so I don't like bullshit. I mean, I'm a good bullshitter, but I've just always watched a lot of sports.
Mhm.
Kind of one of my strengths and weaknesses, I think I mentioned before, is I'm pretty good at a lot of stuff, and I've just anything that's sport related, I've always I've enjoyed. So learning how to hit the ball and positioning and stuff like that. It's just stuff that I've done playing as a kid and then watching on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
That's about it, man. And
Well-
I just like to push kids, and when I see my kids succeed, or any kid on my team like
What a bully.
succeed and win a
I
battle,
know it sounded kind of wrong to push.
I like to
kids.
Sounds like a
no,
push
no, I'll
kids.
literally push them. I'll push them in the back.
I like
No.
to push them.
But that's really the only big thing. Other than that, my daughter turned 4 months. She had her 4-month checkup on Monday. She got a shot, and it sucked. I'm sure I wasn't there, but it's that shit. She cried, and my heart hurts just knowing she cried.
Desi always makes me take him to that doctor's appointment.
I've been to Dominic. I went to most of them. Valerie, I haven't because I've been here because of Dominic.
Yeah.
But I just know that it sucks.
Yeah, it's
So-
always sad to see your kids cry. They only that they started with that silent cry
Yeah.
when they were little, and then they start crying.
Yeah.
Well, man, my week, I've been living in my Dharma, guys. If anybody's read the book, Think Like a Monk, living in your Dharma is like living in your calling, living in your passion, and just really enjoying what you're doing. We're in a season in our franchise where this is the last big opportunity for our trainers to really make a big push and impact as many lives as possible. And then for the remaining of the year, it's kind of gets slow. It slows down for us. And so I get to, put the leadership hat on and just see if I can do better than last time, right? Last time I did a promotion, I felt like I did awesome up front and I kind of fizzled out at the very back end because I was like, oh, everything's good. And so this time around, it's that competitiveness in me. I want to get back on it. I want to start strong and I just want to execute this time around. Like, I'm just super excited of, can I keep this high and can I keep it for a short burst and hold on to it? And so I'm just excited, man. Me and Desi went out on a date last night for the first time in a very long time. Unfortunately, it was not unfortunately, but we did have the two littles, but it was still a date. Like, we just ignored the kids, the babies.
Just put them aside.
Just left them in the car.
Yeah. Shut up, fool.
Window slightly open.
He was all tugging on baby. He was all asking for food. I was like, shut up. I'm just playing. No, but it was good. I had 3 margaritas. We had a good time. And, she was all like, I'm excited to see you so happy and falling back in love with CG because, I go through ruts in your entrepreneur journey of like, man, is this going to turn out the way I thought it was going to turn out? And just over evolving and being here with you guys weekly and continue to grow. I think I found like a good pattern and just, it feels good working. Like, I feel great working. I just want to work. I'm a work horse right now and I'm enjoying it. And it's a season. And I want to shout out to Desi for understanding the season that we're in, allowing me to do what I need to do. And we're like balancing acts where she takes over a little bit more of the household. I take over that workload. And then when this season's over, we'll kind of balance back out. So I appreciate everything she does for that aspect. But man, I'm in it to win it, but I do have some bad news. Well,
good news first, right?
I skipped a couple of days on my journal. And so then I started to debate, okay, what is the reasoning of me skipping some days on my journal? And, I always tell my kids, well, find the problem, find a solution, and then, make it better, make your plan better. And my journal is just too big. Like, I got a big old freaking like college rule book, right? Because I feel like I was gonna be writing essays and all that stuff.
I really thought you had like a little book like this, but
No, what? And so I started
This
thinking, I
one's
was
mine.
like, okay.
I thought something like that.
No, bro. Because I felt like, I was going to really throw down on the piece of paper. Like, I don't know how many pages I might need, brother. I was going to be all crafty and work on my literature because it's definitely not great at all. And I just started thinking, I was like, well, I had to go upstairs and find, get the big old thing and then find a pencil. And I was like, all right, maybe if it was portable and I kept it in my gym bag, because I had my gym bag all the time with me. And so tomorrow I'm going to see, I'm going to find a solution. All right. I'm going to see if this works. I'm going to go buy a little one and we'll see what happens. Baby steps. We got any fun topic, guys? I'm excited. Let's get this podcast started. Any fun topics before we jump into this topic?
Not that I didn't have one.
I got a problem. I've told you about the one when I was driving into the parking lot.
No.
At the domain. All right. So check it out. This is going to transition very well to the actual podcast. I'm going to the domain, which is a high-end, mall. All right. We have Gucci, all that stuff.
It's a bougie little outdoor mall. Yeah.
It's a bougie outdoor mall. And so parking's crazy. So I go to the parking garage, and there's a lady in front of me, and I'm just right behind her. She's looking for parking. I'm looking for parking, but she's in front of me. First level, and we're going slow. So there's a car that hits the reverse lights, but the lady in front of me has already right behind this person and doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like right here. So I can easily, hey, back up. This is going to be my spot. And so the lady in front of me actually passes that car, but I guess sees it in peripherals that, hey, this lady hit the red light. I mean, hit the reverse. And I'm already backed up, ready to do my thing. You know, hey, perfect. She missed it. Awesome. You know, I'm going to get this parking spot in the front row. I was like, bet, say less. Well, this lady had the audacity to stop when she passed the car. She passed the car. She had the audacity to reverse all the way back to me, then needed more room to keep reversing back. So she had me reverse even more so she can get into this parking spot. Now,
oh my God, so, I'm upset just listening to this.
So I'm like in my zone, like, okay, Jonathan's okay. It's pretty fucked up, but hey, anyways, let it slide. She's probably, it was a minivan. So I'm assuming a mom, which I was right. I let it fly. I was like, maybe she got 1,000 kids, right? I was like, give her the freaking benefit of the doubt, even though I was a little flustered. But you know, it turns out literally 2 parking spots down to the left, there was an open parking spot. So by the time she reversed and did all her thing and parked, I already parked, got out the car and passed her. She obviously probably didn't want to get out because that's a little embarrassing that you made me do all that work. And then there's a parking spot. Like if you would have just looked to the left, there was a parking spot right there for you. I was really flustered. And so I want to transition into, well, first, has this ever happened to you? Would you have backed up like I have, or would you honk the horn? Like, let's go there first.
No.
Yeah, that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I probably would have done what you would have done, and mainly because it's a woman. If it was a man, I probably would have honked on the horn or just like told him to F off. That's my spot. But
why,
is
that a man thing? Is that like you trying to punk me, man?
Yeah.
Or woman?
Well, I mean, like the woman thing, I just
disrespectful.
Yeah. I don't know. It's right. I guess it's a double-edged sword. Like for me, like if it's a woman, I'm like, okay, so it's a mom, it's a daughter. But then again, if it's a man, it could be I'm being respectful is what it is. But yeah, I guess it is a man thing, like a pride thing. Like it's a man. If it's a man, he's not gonna bump me off my spot. That's my spot. If it's a woman,
he gets out, kick her ass. Is it still a pride thing?
Who says I'm getting out of my car?
Like he gets out the car.
He can get out all he wants to. I'm not getting out of my car.
All right.
What?
Chris Vic, what you got? Come on, that's tough. It's tough, brother.
Yeah, I've had things like that where people take my spot, and I was like, I was right there. You saw my arrow, mother effer. I'm like cussing them out in the car. I'm like, right? Yeah, or just in regular traffic, people do dumb stuff. They're like, what the heck? But yeah, I probably in that same situation, I would have mad. Probably give her like that look. Like really,
I was
just move on.
Annoyed look.
The look. I was all like, bro, if you're having to make me back up,
yeah,
you're definitely in the wrong. Like, what is the mindset here? Anyways,
I know. That's funny.
Chris.
Yeah, I've never had someone back up like that, like once they passed it, but I've definitely had it where like I'm clearly waiting for the spot, and then like someone will come from the other side because the way the car backs out, it's like works out perfectly for them, and they just swipe it.
That's a different scenario. That's a little different because now we're looking at it face to face, and we can see each other type scenario. And I don't know, that facial expression from one eye to another versus she can't see me, I can't see her. She's just like bullying me back.
I might give him the look too, or like just, or I might like.
Is anybody giving the finger?
Nah, not really.
Okay.
Really? I don't know if you can even see it.
Because even like what, like, I mean, if you think about it, like, what is that really going to do? Like, the only thing it could just escalate things. Like, you don't know what kind of person is in the other car. Like, they can be crazy. They might have a gun on them, and I mean, especially here in Texas, like, they can have a gun on them, and if they have road rage, like, you don't know what they're gonna do. Like, I mean, it's not even worth it. It's like, yeah, it's annoying, but
So
I mean,
look at this transition. Is it nature or nurture why that person is like that? Anyways, before we get there, let's define nature, let's define nurture, and then we'll just go straight into that example of why was that person that way in that scenario. Victor, I'll let you kind of start off, man. You're the one who actually like knew nature, nurture, and I had to go research stuff.
Yeah. So like Jonathan said, so today again we're just talking about, so what again, it's related to self-development, it's related to like success, right? Is it or like more people inclined to be successful like out the womb, you're kind of predetermined genetically to be good at some things, just be successful? Or is it your product of like learned behaviors or your environment or your observation that leads you to be a certain way or be successful? So just define nature, right? So nature is what we think as, I have it written down here, as a pre-wiring, and then it's influenced by genetics or inheritance. Like you inherit that physically, right? Genetically, and other biological factors. So that is like nature, right? You're not, straight out the womb, you have these genetic traits, or versus the nurture, which is, what I mentioned. So generally taken as the influence of external factors, after conception, or like your product of your exposure, like I said, life experiences, or just learning as an individual.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the definitions that I saw there as far as nature and nurture. And again, this question just came up to me just thinking about things. It's just as of a self assess of like of myself, of why I struggle with certain things or why I react to certain things and things of that nature. Like, okay, what can I teach myself to be like better at this, to becomes natural? Or even if I work at it, I'm sure I'll be better than I was, and if I didn't work at it, but can I ever be as good as another person, at something? So that has got me thinking of that, and just, the topic of today, and really wanted to discuss and just kind of bring it up to you guys. What is your thought process as you guys were researching this today? Like, what was like your, like before even research, what was you guys thought other than Animal Planet?
Bro, you know my answer when you first brought it up.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've actually kind of learned about this in school, like back in the day, but
bragging.
So I mean, but like, I think nature is obviously going to be a big part of it, because some people are going to be naturally better at certain things than other people are. But nurture is just as important, if not more important, because you can have the talent, you can have the skills, you can have the genetics, but if you don't learn how to use them, you don't learn how to apply them, it doesn't really matter. Like they always say, like, oh, it's like 80% nature, 20% nurture, or vice versa, or sometimes they say 50-50. But the common thing is you need both. Like no matter what, you have a little bit of nature and a little bit of nurture.
Yeah, I think as well, I'm kind of like in that there is, kind of a little bit of both as far as what is going to make a person that person. Even though just from, our podcast, we've kind of seen how, people have changed their trajectory by certain things that have happened to them in their life, and they've changed, the trajectory of their family and stuff like that nature. But yeah, I think I agree with a little bit of both.
That kind of depends for me.
Yeah,
depends on the situation, right? Because
it's very situational.
I found myself was all like, oh, it's a little bit of both, right? Like just from scientific standpoint, me going into fitness and nutrition, we quite understand that there's not one fits best for one person. And I've always had the answer somewhere in the middle, just kind of have to trial and error this bad boy. And so when I went into it in that mindset, but then as we're relating to success, I started to think that, well, no matter what my genetics are, no matter what my DNA says, I believe we all have the opportunity for greatness, right? It just really depends on the decision that you're going to make along the way. And I will never let anything stop anybody from believing that, because anything is possible. Anything is possible, even if it has a little bit genetic capability to it in regards to, let's just say, basketball. We all play basketball, right? It's very easy for me to say, if I'm 5'10", there's no way I'm going to be in the NBA. I could just shave that off the list right now. But with my current mindset, there was a chance for me to go to the NBA, because Isaiah Thomas 5'9", you have Chris Paul 6 foot tall. Like, if they would have had that mindset of, you know what, I'm not going to be above 6 foot and let me go do something else, they missed out on all the opportunities of their great potential greatness. And so it's in that aspect, it's a little bit of both. And we want to talk about sports, but when it talks about success, it doesn't matter what DNA you have. Now, you might have a little bit edge over some people, like maybe you come from a little smarter genetics and you got strands of a little bit of more brilliance. But at the end of the day, if you truly believe in yourself and you continue to work and pursue and expose yourself to the right environment and network and never give up, I truly believe I will lean all the way towards nurture. You can nurture your way into success, and you just got to believe it, talk that shit into existence, and keep pushing forward. So I'm going to veer when it comes to success. Say it on the podcast. I'm leaning all the way towards nurture, because nothing is going to stop me but myself.
What do you think, Ian?
I want to hear Ian. Ian talked about Jocko.
Yeah,
So
it's definitely a mixture of the two, in my opinion. It's obviously situational.
Let's go context.
Success wise, yeah, it definitely would. I mean, in Jocko's word, is neither. It's simply a choice, is what he says.
Say it like Jocko. Come on, man.
I can't do it.
All right, I'm gonna be the interviewer. Mr. Ian, is there a difference between, well, you know what bet suits for someone to be more successful? Is it nurture or is it nature?
Neither is Jocko's answer. Neither, because it's simply a choice. And that's really to your point, Jonathan. It doesn't really matter where you've come or who you have been. It's what you're going to do now. So it's simply a choice to become smarter or be more fit or be more loving or be more caring. Just because you don't know a language now, like I've been wanting to speak Spanish my entire life, just because I don't know it now, there's nothing nurture or nature wise that prevents me from learning it tomorrow. So it's my choice to want to learn it and to better myself or learn that skill.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree with you guys and Jocko on that point. It's like, it is a choice that you make, and you might have things, maybe like I think Jonathan mentioned, you might be something maybe stacked against you in the beginning, right? We have people that are genetically born with maybe just a disorder, either physically or mentally, right? Mm-hmm. Something that's in their body, just born with it, whatnot. It runs in their family, and it might debilitate them for a little bit. But again, it is a choice. Like, we see a lot of people that are born with, one arm, and they paint like the best paintings, right? But they decided at one point that their disability was not going to stop them from reaching their dreams, right? And I think all of us here agree that, we all come from backgrounds that we weren't, set up like in front of the line, right? So we all had to kind of work for what we have, and then we're still working to what we want to have. But again, we're not, get ahead of the game, like genetically, like we're not super smart. We're not Einsteins here. Some of us got big heads, but for other reasons. But
big brain.
Yeah, big brain.
That one, a little bit of it works.
Yeah.
We'll go with that.
You were talking about being in front of the line. I was like, shit, I'm literally always in the back of the line. My last name starts with Z. So.
But to kind of prove again, or emphasize our point here, is that they made a lot of research, like scientists, theorists, all that, how just being exposed to something, observation and learning really makes a big difference in someone's trajectory. I think we talked about it before here, is like if you put yourself in a situation, in an environment, you will be almost a product of whatever that environment is, right? If you put yourself in a situation to where, there's your circle of friends are, gang related or violent, you're probably going to be, in that, right?
Say the quote, you are the sum of the 5 people around you, right?
Yeah. Right. So that, or if you
normally put yourself, always true.
Yeah. If you put yourself around people that are like, reading, or they're into self-development, or, they want to achieve certain things, then that's what you're gonna, that's what you're gonna be, because that feeds off you. So I think we're born some way with certain traits that we kind of have to live with, but we have to choose then on to be like, no, I want this. So I know I have, maybe anger issues or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna work on that because I want to, be, I don't know, something like a doctor or whatever. And that's, I had to learn how to tame myself, stuff like that.
When you say traits, do you mean just like characteristics? Like if we're more loving, or, and the reason I bring it up for a reason, I'll continue. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, that could be one of them. Like, for example, like people that are kind of not against, but they're in the nature sense, the nature side of things, is that everyone's born with like a level of cognitive ability, right? So they're like, hey, you're already born with this much. I guess how to, like, this is how much you're just gonna be this much intelligent. In other words, like your
IQ is gonna be,
like your
it's not really gonna surpass a certain number.
Yeah, gotcha. Processing things, in your brain is gonna, there's other people that are better than you just off the bat.
Gotcha.
So that's why, there's, smart people, they learn quicker, right? That's why we get like little geniuses that people are, stuff like that. So that's kind of like, or can you learn and be that smart and can, something like that. So, but I think that's what I mean about some people you're born with characteristics, either good or bad, positives or negatives. I think I mentioned like a negative, like anger issues, but you could be born with other things that you're good at. Like I said, I think we did in the beginning of this year for this podcast, we did like a self-assessment of what we are naturally, our personality is. So I think that's our nature type of thing almost.
Do want a rebuttal just because of a book that I read, like maybe we are predisposed to a certain personality traits that we have. Maybe it is nature or nurture that we've gotten, but in the book, personality isn't permanent. Like that, I feel like that's where there's a gray line. Like you're not always stuck with that. Like if you think about it now, the way you acted or did certain things when you were a teenager, you will never have a chance to again, personality wise, as a grown man. And this just comes from, I mean, it could come from the nurture side of things, just your experiences that you're learning, or you made the choice to not act that way anymore. Right. So I think when it comes to, in my opinion, at least when it comes to certain traits genetically, personality wise, I feel like that can be changed to a certain extent. Right.
It can, especially when you're younger too. Like you're gonna act how your friends are acting. Like everyone's just trying to fit in. Everyone's trying to get along with, like, just they want to have people in their life, so they might not even necessarily truly act that way. But I mean, you kind of see what's like your environment around you and see how they're acting, and you just kind of act the same way.
Well, I mean, like even now too, as a grown man, like for example, someone could be very timid, but they want to be a public speaker. Like that's not going to mix. So you have to change that personality trait of being timid to something that's more extrovert, and that's going to mesh well with what your goal is. It's kind of the point I'm kind of getting at.
With my son today, because when we talk about nature and nurture, I'm constantly thinking, because I'm trying to raise young entrepreneurs. And I teach my kids the grind, the day-to-day habits to be successful, right? The day-to-day success habits is what I teach my kids on how to do all this shit on their own. And so I'm thinking about what am I doing what can I do better, right? So what can I do better as a father to put them in a better position? How can I nurture this, right? So that's constantly on my mind. Am I nurturing them the right way to be successful? And so I had this conversation with my kids because I'm getting to a point where they're doing things other people, grown people, aren't doing, but they're doing it at such a low level, right? They're just checking off the task. They're reading, they're working out, they're running, they're doing their chores. It's just like this, boom, 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 boom. But there's really what makes somebody special, guys, or what makes something above and beyond, what makes somebody a 1%er is that they always go above and beyond. They always give a little extra, right? If you're walking by and you see, you're throwing the trash and you see a piece of trash on the floor, going above and beyond is, oh, let me pick this up, right? And so I literally saw one of my kids look at this piece of trash while they're carrying the trash bag and just walked right past it. And so I started to notice this trend. Okay, what am I doing as a father, as a leader, that they're only doing exactly what they're being asked of and like nothing above and beyond? And so I had this conversation with my son, and I'm like, listen, guy, I feel like y'all are just doing what daddy says. Obviously, I'm not telling y'all to do any things anymore. I'll give y'all a little applaud. Great job. You're doing things on your own, but you're just doing the baseline. And that's not what's going to get you to that next level. And is it the DNA? Like, is it my DNA? Why did the kids get this DNA where everything I do has to be a little bit above and beyond? Because it's just the competitiveness inside of me. And my kids did not get that. So in my head, I'm asking myself, can I teach that? Can you teach that above and beyond? Like that is the special sauce to
Do you
success.
think you were taught that?
No, I was not taught. It was in my DNA, brother. It's just in there. And I had the conversation today with the millionaire at the gym today. I asked him, well, he actually told me, I was talking about, because I'm really going into a spot of fatherhood where I'm starting to, what I'm doing is not working. How can I get better? So I'm in this zone right now. And so I asked him about his son. His son is doing all the right things, going to college, being successful, like doing all the things that his father has taught him. The same thing that I'm teaching my kids, his father's taught him. But I was like, hey, did your son do the extra? And it's just like, oh, he's like, you know what? He's like, that's a gene that my kid didn't get. He's like, I'm gonna talk like he speaks, because it's
you sound like an old school, like Chicano or something.
OG, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, listen. He's like, you, me, we cut from the same cloth. There's something inside us that we were meant to be great. You want more, you feel it, you hungry, you're gonna get it if you don't quit. My kids, I just teach them, they do great, they're gonna get it. But that little thing right there, you feel it in your blood, it can't be taught. It's just like it might develop over time, it might click, they might get it eventually, but I didn't stress about it when they were younger. I just taught them the process. And the process will take it all. Like, bro, I got the chills, bro. So like,
sound like Scarface for a minute.
I know. Like the Godfather.
Yeah. Like, you're doing all the right things. Teach them the process. And then when they find their path, it's all gonna click. I'm telling you, it's gonna click, okay? I was like, all right, man, let's go. And
that's funny.
So,
I think you just have to I think you just have conversations. I think if you feel, I think that's why with my son, he wants to be certain things. He's at that age where he's almost halfway through high school. Like he's going to go into 10th grade. Yeah, so, earlier over the summer, just started thinking about the future. I just told him, think about your future. What do you want to be right now? Like,
that's so hard as a kid, bro. Like for us, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But could you tell Jonathan at age 16, think about your fucking future, bro?
So, I would say my son is like very aware of what he likes now, and then he's kind of running with it.
That's what I told you I like about your son.
Yeah.
He beats to his own drum.
Yeah, he's like running with it. I'm just encouraging or nurturing his passion right now, so that passion could keep on going into something he can live off. Yeah, which he can, which is he likes like sound, beats, like into like that world of stuff, and he's doing it now. That's what we got him. That, what is it called? I forgot that little. Yeah, the My Die. Yeah. We got him. Like, this is we bought him for it. He's made songs. He has songs. Their beats are not bad. They're like,
put them on Spotify or SoundCloud.
I know. We talked about that. I was like, how can we sell this? But so we've got him to where, but we have these conversations before we bought him all this stuff. Is like, you really like it? Like, you really like it? And the way he speaks about it and stuff, like, okay. We just kind of talked about it, I think and sometimes I would say not all kids are the same. Like not everyone is kind of know what they want. I know maybe he gets that from me. Maybe it's a little bit of genetics because when I was young, I already knew what I wanted. I wanted to be a business owner. Like but I saw my grandfather be a business owner. So maybe a little nurture, observation. And I like that. So he likes that, so I think some of this conversations like what they like, and sometimes they might not know yet. But I think what you're doing is good, though. I think what you're doing is good. I wouldn't say you're failing at.
I'm sharpening these tools, right? These tools have to be sharpened. I get that. To put them ahead of the game, these tools have to be sharpened. But I'm on the other side of the spectrum. My kids don't know what they want, and that's totally fine. I understand that. And that's why I admire your son, because he's at that point where he does him, right? And so I kind of self-reflected today, and I want to do something different. I noticed that my son carries about too much what I think, a little too much, even though I'm saying, do you, bro, whatever you like, pink fingernails, comb hair, I don't care what Valerie, I do not care if it's, a man thing or a girl thing. I don't care at all. I just want you to do what you love. And even though I say that, he still cares about what other people think. Like, so for example, Victor bought him a jersey for the birthday thing. And he came down with it on today, and he asked me, hey, does this look good? I was like, Desi kind of got mad at me. She's like, yeah, say it looks good. I said, son, it shouldn't matter what I think. Do you look good in it? And he looked confused, and I noticed 30 minutes later, he took it off. And then I like, it clicked. I was like, all right, he doesn't know himself. And that's totally fine. He's 13. Yeah. And then I was like, I always pick his books for him, because in the season that I see, this might be a great book for him. But I said this time, I was like, Slice, let's do it. Let's do something different. Let me teach you how to pick a book. And I was like, in this phase right now at 13 years old, what do you feel like you can improve on? And he's all like, going extra, because I always speak about going extra. I was like, yeah, cool. That's kind of what dad wants. I was like, but what do you feel like you're struggling with? He's like, find out what I want. And I was all like, oh, bet, perfect. I was like, hey, 30 minutes, go find books galore about, finding yourself. And so he came down, he found a book, and it's called Finding Yourself. And I was like, oh, perfect. He picked the book. Daddy didn't pick the book. And then now we go back to the sharpening the tools, because eventually I want him to be like Victor's son, as in, I want you to do you, bro. Like, you want fucking blue hair, wear goddamn blue hair, because that's who you want to be, right? Because I fell in that path. I was like, son, I spent 10 years caring what people thought, bought a big house, did all the cool things that I thought I was supposed to be doing, and put myself in the biggest jam in my entire freaking life, because I cared about what people thought about my achievements and what I had. And
it's tough for people,
right?
It's tough for people though, because even as an adult, like a lot of people don't even know what they want to do with their lives. Like, I have a coworker who's, I think, in her late 40s, early 50s, and she's like realizing like she doesn't really care much for what she does. And she's like, but I don't, she kind of jokingly said, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. Like, and she's like, she could be my mom. Like my mom, she's around my mom's age, probably somewhere in that area.
They're afraid to try new things. That's what that was, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a big thing. That it's like, but people just don't know. I mean, it's not even necessarily that they're afraid to try new things. It's just, they don't know what they want to do.
It all comes down to trying new things, brother. Like, if you listen to the outside noise, you think that you're supposed to be doing something, and you fall comfortable, you fall stability. And therefore you're stuck in this rocky place of like, anything outside this is unknown. I don't like where I'm at. I don't know what I want to do, but anything out here in these outside zones are just the unknown. And that's a scary place to be in. So I think it's our job as the future generation is to promote that nurture. Go try a lot of things. Go fuck up at a lot of things. It's going to be okay. From 20 to 30, go mess up as much as you possibly can. Let's figure this thing out. Let's go try new things. Let's go experience. Let's go adventure. And eventually along the ways, you're going to find who you are. And then you're going to find that passion. And so that got me thinking, Chris. I was thinking a lot about it.
And I think that's a good thing in today's like world, is that you hear it a lot more, that it's okay to fail. Like, it's okay to, yeah. I mean, not just Gary Vee. Like, it's like that's a common theme nowadays. Is it's okay to fail. It's not failing that's the bad thing. It's like quitting. And they used to say that like in sports, like you'd hear that a lot. But like you'd also have like get a lot more crap if you were struggling at something. And like I feel like in the past, it's like no, they put a lot more pressure to be like perfect at everything.
It is a good transition. It is a good
and now it's like like especially like you're seeing like with the whole mental health issues out there, like you're seeing like what's your name, Simone Biles, like in the past, if someone were to just like not do the events, just basically up and quit, like
she still got a lot of shit for it.
I mean, she did, but comparing
got
to
both sides though, because of
she got a lot of praise too.
It's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah,
but back in the day, like you said, it wouldn't have been a both. It would have been you would have got slaughtered.
Which is kind of, it's ironic because like if she would have hurt her ankle or her knee during the competition, they wouldn't be saying anything. Like they'd be like, oh, well, she's hurt. It's like, or she's injured, or she's not right. But when it comes to the mental, it's still something, like you said, like people are still giving her grief, but that's something that people are still like not seeing as like just as important as like physical.
Yeah, but yeah, and I definitely agree as far as, that, for those that are kind of maybe in the 40s and 50s, still don't know what to do. You're not inclined to be like, oh, this is how it's going to be, right? You can nurture yourself even at an old age. Like I started thinking about that today. I was like, all right, I'm turning 35.
Still young.
I was like, man, you know what? I've only been really working at it for like 10 years, like really like thinking about my like literally, right? And I'm just like starting to like,
I'm like 5 years in.
Yeah. Well, as far as like, I would say in like, in the working, what is it? Like working force, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, man, yeah, I was like, and I think about, because I started thinking about like, man, I'm I need to like at 65, I think of retirement means like I see myself, I got all these goals to achieve by that time. And then I think, oh my God, I'm running out of time. And then I'm like, wait, you've lived 35 years already? And like, that's a long time. You got another 30 years. That's a long time. And so
whenever you feel that way, think of Kentucky Fried Chicken guy.
I know, right? Yeah,
that's like just the perfect, way to look at it. Who's what, 66 or something like that when he came up with Kentucky Fried Chicken and blew up.
Yeah. So I would say you can nurture yourself, I think, to really achieve what you want. I think part of we always talk about know yourself, know what you want, what you're passionate about, kind of go for it. Like don't quit, give it all the effort you can. If you fail, it's good. If not, just keep on going, just find a different process, a different solution to it. But I think nature has a part of maybe tells a little bit of your story, or a little bit of your early stages of living life, but it doesn't it's not a set in stone. You can build yourself, rebuild yourself, in different ways.
If you nurture that DNA, that's that gift, like bro, that's when you're like really going into like that special place, brother. It's where the moons and the stars all aligned. You're just like right, you got those super stars. What do y'all think about Jamal's quotes, right? Because his is more on the nurture side, and we're speaking about self-development. Your level of exposure will determine your level of success.
Oh man, I think I'm with that, because I think if I would have gone exposure to like what we just this, maybe not to like the high ballers or high players type of thing, even just this, 10 years ago, it would have been like a whole game changer, right? Let's say we started this in our 20s, like that would be, my God, we'd be the 9 to 5 millionaires, all of us right now. All right. So I think definitely 100% exposure, because it changes your mindset, like for real.
Can I be honest with you guys? We're our mindset and the way we move and the direction we're going, we're moving like the millionaires. Because like I spoke, like I don't know, I'm blessed to have met this guy at the gym named Wilson, who is a millionaire, and he just affirms everything I'm doing. that I was his young me, everything that we're doing as a squad, every that accountability, the moving forward. And I truly believe your level of exposure will determine your level of success, because this guy is pouring into me in a way that he told me he wants to, because I was having this problem with my son. And he's like, you know what? He's like, you don't have a Lamborghini, you don't have the Corvette, you don't have the nice things. Here's what I'm gonna do. So it might be hard for your son to see like what it actually looks like, right? He just sees your grind, he sees his grind, and he really can't see anything that's, you know, the reward. Like, what's that reward? What does that feel like? He's like, when my son comes back in town, I'm gonna do you a favor, because I see you. He's like, I'm gonna take you and your son. We're gonna get in the Lambo. We're gonna get in the Corvette, and I'm gonna take you to Denny's. Swear to God. Swear to God.
Swear to God, I thought you were saying something
Humble
else.
as fuck. I swear to God.
Yeah.
He said Denny's.
I was like,
I didn't
Denny's?
crack I cracked a big smile, because I just like, right?
Sure.
Because you know Denny's, brother. Like,
Bro,
That's
bad
that
All-American
old school,
Slam.
bro.
I'm down.
Dude, that's that old school. You know what? When my dad and my mom,
he's home, like old school. He's like, he's like, you know what? That's why he could touch it. He could feel it. Everything he's doing, this could be his future. And that's why I like to show my kids, like, you do this, boom, 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 boom. This is what you're gonna get.
dude, it's hilarious because the Denny's part, when we and my parents took us to Denny's, we thought we were like at a fine restaurant. It was like a treat. We were like, oh man, we're going to Denny's. Yeah.
I grew up poor, and Denny's is where we went, brother. The
Yeah.
Grand Slam, homie. The Junior
All-American Slam.
homie. I don't know
Yeah.
if they still have it. I haven't ate Denny's since I was like freaking.
I know.
We didn't have a car. We were riding our bike to Denny's. That's what I remember Denny's, brother.
Shit, we would used to go after we go to the bars and stuff, because there was a Denny's that was right down the street from Old Town Temecula, like where my parents live, and that was like the place to go, because that was one of the few places that was open after all the bars closed. So like you would see the craziest stuff at Denny's late at night, but it was entertaining.
Anyway,
I wanted to backtrack a little bit,
we can't.
because we were talking about. No, because we were talking about like how like things were being situational, and like Vic had mentioned, like they were talking about how you're kind of predisposed, like a certain IQ and things like that. But like obviously nature versus nurture has been highly debatable, and I was kind of looking back at some of like the research in the past. I don't remember when it was, but a lot of people used to use it, like they would mention the social economic status of people too, and like they would constantly try to say that like, oh, if you come from a richer family, you're more likely to be successful. Like you're just going to be born with it, not even just like having the money and everything, but they're saying, oh, you're going to have like the better genes and this and that.
Superior.
But yeah, and then like comparing to the people that live in the projects that struggle to make ends meet, but like they kind of came to realize that like they're just being biased against minorities, because like
Aladdin.
because they were just trying to make it sound like, oh, white people are superior, and obviously that's not the case. I mean, you have people that are great from all races, all demographics, like, but like even with that, when I was reading about that, I was like, even though it does seem like there is some fact that you see more successful people that come from richer families, I still don't think it's the nature. I think it's the nurture, because they're growing up in that environment. Like they're being taught what to do with money and what to do, like, and like
private schools,
how to run a business or whatever. Like, oh, their dad gave them a business and they taught them how to run it. Like
Serena Williams. Let's talk sports. Their parents, Tiger Woods, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the greats. What did their parents nurture them from ridiculously early on?
Or like the people, like all the family members from Walmart, like how many siblings that like they're running that company, but it was their dad that built it.
I think,
and now they're just reaping the benefits from it.
Yeah, I think in our context of success, I think nurture, you know, hey, it's gonna take the win, but when And then in other contexts, maybe more like sports, but still, like I just mentioned, nurture still Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, and Venus. But ultimately, you can't nurture 6'8".
Yeah, I mean, obviously there is a big fact. I mean, nature does play a big factor, especially when it comes to sports. Like you could only get to be so fast. Like you can't train yourself to be like the fastest man in the world. Like you have to have some natural abilities to
Some
run,
good genes in there,
or like to jump high, or to, like you said, be 6'8". Like
I do wonder
some of those
though,
things, yeah, you can improve on them.
Can nurture evolve your genetics? Like, for example, you have two lions, and I spoke about this before. 2 lions, one in the Sahara Desert where he has to fend for himself. He's a beast. He's a monster. All his muscles. He's ripped. He's lean. He's a savage. And then you have a lion in the zoo, right? He's more soft looking. He's still a freaking, genetically, he's a beast, but he looks nothing like the freaking lion in the Sahara Desert. That was a product of, like, they're both the same species. One was just in a different environment and looks like this, and the other one looks like this. So that's why I figured, can your nurture also evolve your genetic capabilities, like your growth in your body?
I think it can, but I don't think it's like after just one generation. I think it's like builds over time. So like for example, like you see certain areas are great at certain aspects in life. Like if we go back to sports, like you go to like Kenya, Ethiopia, those people can do long distance better than anyone else in the world. Like, or you go to sprints, like you have the Jamaicans. It's a small country, but they still dominate. Like, I mean,
Well,
they
they're being
kill it.
chased by
Like,
lions. That's
I don't know about in Jamaica, but
I just there's a reason why they're so fast. They're trying to survive, brother.
But like, I mean, so yeah, like to an extent, I think, like, because obviously I mean, even just in every aspect of life, like people keep improving, like whether it's the athletes are getting more athletic and getting better, bigger, stronger, faster, or people are becoming more intelligent, like they're like on average, like nurturing people, I think, does eventually lead to the natural
Evolution,
gene, like
right?
naturally, like, yeah, natural evolution. Like their genes do improve over time, like if you train your body right and pass it on to your kin.
Yeah. So Victor, don't get too excited that one day you might look like me. This is a little bit of nature and nurture here, brother.
I know, based
You
on
can
what Chris
nurture
said,
all
my
you want,
grandchildren
Victor.
will be jacked.
You can nurture all you want. With a little bit of this right here is some nature, brother.
So hey, awesome guys. I think we're good, right?
Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
I liked it. Good talk. Interesting talk. Any tangibles? No, nothing.
In our context, don't use any of it as a reason why you can't do what you want to do and being successful in whatever you want to do.
Exactly. Yep, I agree. It's a choice. Doesn't matter where you came from. Doesn't matter what you have. You make the choice today to be great. So as always, thanks for joining us today. Till next time. Peace and love.